today we're going to have a look at one of the less successful projects in computing Hang on. Where am I? Why is it dark in here? Why can I hear a cow in here? What the hell? Whey! Oh, I think the vortex is playing a little game with me. Shall we start again, shall we? Right, you didn't film that last little bit, did you, Vortex? I hope that's a no. Anyway, right, today we're going to look at one of computing industry's least successful projects, of the Mega Drive 32X, of course, from Sega. The 32X, which was a 32-bit add-on for the Mega Drive, was first shown to the public in the 1994 CES show in Chicago. It was then launched in America in November of 1994 and in Europe at the same time. Originally designated Project Mars, the idea of 32X was to basically extend the life of the Mega Drive while the Sega Saturn was building up its user base, as that was just around the corner. But things did not go quite to Sega's plan. You see, the 32X was a bit of an expensive add-on. Here in the UK, it was £170. That's £170 just to extend the life of a console while you're waiting for another one that is just around the corner. You can spot things are going to start going wrong right there. In America, they wanted $149 for this temporary fix, which is what most people saw it as, which basically is what it was. Initially, orders were good. There were over 1 million consoles ordered, but supply problems meant that only just over 660,000 were ever built of the console. The console does have one claim to fame, and that it is, as far as I know, the first 32-bit system ever in the world. But it had many problems. People had trouble getting it in. The wiring system on the back is, to say the least, complex, and they had shields. Let me show you. If you fitted it to a Mega Drive 1, you had to put little metal shields in to stop interference. Now on my setup, I do not have those shields, then it works no problem. But on some it interfered, so you had to have these little shields. Now parents were having real trouble putting them in because they were a pain in the butt. Also, if you had the Mega Drive 2, it didn't fit properly on the shape, so you had to have this spacer. And people were already seeing this as a bodge job, and as you'll see in a moment, the wiring is another area where things can go drastically wrong. The console was also designed so you could play 32X games on it, and you could also play normal Mega Drive games if you wanted to, but people found that some of the games just wouldn't work. And this, technical problems, price, supply problems, and the fact that the Sega Saturn was just around the corner scared off developers. They no longer wanted to pay to develop for this thing. It was just too much of a financial risk, so they decided it's time to start developing for the Saturn. So this thing was abandoned. Now this was a time in Sega's history where they must have been just taking too much white powder or something, because they decided, well, the 32X is expensive to make, it's unreliable, so we're going to put it into a console. What they intended to do was to put the Mega Drive and the 32X into one console and call it the Neptune. And this thing was developed and prototyped, but they brought it out. They were going to bring it out just at the time as the Saturn had finished development, and so the Saturn was coming out. So the Neptune, like the 32X, died. Never actually got onto the production lines, although there are reputedly a few working prototypes out there. So by the end of 1995, the 32X was dead, cancelled, and the Sega Saturn was born. Now it's the fact that game developers were unwilling to develop new games for this that led to a question. What was the 32X actually capable of? Because although some 3D games such as Virtua Racing were developed for it, people weren't willing to push its boundaries because well, they weren't willing to make the investment on a game they weren't going to get a return on. So the boundaries of the 32X, a lot of people feel, and as this tech demo that's just started behind me shows, they never pushed the boundaries enough. I personally feel it's a bit of a sad story that the world's first 32-bit console should meet with such bad management. But there we go, and we should move on, and let's go and have a look at this abomination, physical abomination. I feel it's actually quite a good console in itself, but physically it's a bit of an abomination. Let's see why I think that. Right, here she is in all her glory. This is the box, obviously, with the Mega Drive 32X in. This one was very kindly donated to me by a gentleman from Liverpool. Very nice of him, much appreciated. Anyway, it looks, so far, it looks quite good, doesn't it? It's very attractively designed, and shows you some of the games on the back. There you go, and gives you some details here. The 32-bit arcade upgrade for Mega Drive and CD, 2 high-speed Tashi 32-bit processors. Don't need to read it out because that's been on the screen at the bottom, so there you go. Anyway, you can see some of the graphics there. It's all very nicely done. I like the box. So, let's have a look what's inside the box. Push the box up there, and out she comes. Dispose of the box. Well, not literally, but you know what I mean. Right, you got the 32X manual, which is quite thick, but there again it is in multiple languages. And this does show you where the problems start with this system, because let's have a look. It does come with the leads for the Mega Drive 1. So to attach it to a 2, you've got to have conversion cable, which I think it does actually come with as well. But you've got loads of bits, just bits. There's cables, spacers, all sorts, and it's just horrible. But it's worth doing. And the spacers, which I don't have, but you can see here that they fitted in to the flaps there, which allegedly, I've never done it myself, but it was a nightmare. So in the box we've got cable to run it to the Mega Drive 1, which is a modern cable because I actually purchased that later. The adapter, nothing exciting there. The 32X itself, here she is. Yes, design wise, yes, even on the Mega Drive it doesn't seem to fit that well, but when it works, which this one does, it does its job. On the back we've got AV out, AV in, and an adapter, and a warranty seal, which I think is a later adjustment to this specific console. I think this has been repaired by a third party and that's been put on and it's been resold, but I don't know for sure, so there we go. And this is the spacer for the Mega Drive 2 if you're using it on that. So let's have a look at this thing set up on a console. Okay, assembly time. Right, now, first of all, obviously the 32X has got to talk to the Mega Drive because it uses some of its processors to do the magic bits. Now, if this is a Mega Drive 2, you've got to put one of these on to get the spacing right. Although this is Mega Drive 1, so I don't need that. So go away. Right. You're supposed to fit the metal shields, so you'd have to go and get your fingers torn off trying to put these little metal shields on. Second of all, on goes the console. Slam her down, she's home. Attractive, arguably. Very arguably. Anyway, now, for the next bit, we have to do the wiring. So let's turn it sideways and start the wiring. Now, let's take this stage by stage. First of all, we've got to power the Mega Drive. So, here we go. Now, we've got to get the Mega Drive and the Sega 32 talking. So that the processing that's done by the Mega Drive can come out of the 32X. So, another cable. This goes from the AV out of the Mega Drive into the AV in of the 32X. The 32X also needs power. So, another brick time. So, by this time, you've got 2 bricks. Now, at this point, you need to consider that this also worked for some games in conjunction with the Mega CD. Yes, for some games, you needed a 32X and a Mega CD, which meant even more cables and another power brick, which in some plug setups can cause problems because these just won't go. You can't get them close enough to get them in the plug sometimes. So, anyway, right, so you've got the powered talking together. To finish it all off, to make it look lovely and attractive, you need an AV out, which is originally to UHF, but I've got a modern cable here which goes to SCART. Nearly forgot then. So SCART. So there you go. That's the setup. That's the entire attractive mess. Isn't that nice? Doesn't that look wonderful? On the other hand, if like me, you're a technology geek, the more cables you get, the more kind of sexy it is. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to switch its camera off a bit. Yeah. Right, in this video we've talked about the console's history, we've seen it boxed, we've unboxed it, and we've set it up for you. You're getting rather spoiled in this video. But, if you want to see some games, I found some fantastic games. This console did have some good games, including Virtua Racing, Doom, and Star Wars. And other channels already have these videos showing. So, if you would like to see some gameplay videos of the 32X, follow the links here to these other channels and go spoil yourself. That's the 32X. Hope you enjoyed. Leave any comments below on what you think of this system yourself.